There's one Chicago Bears undrafted free agent that I think has a significant chance of making the roster and maybe getting some playing time as well, and his name is Jack Sanborn. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears offseason discussion video. I thought I'd talk about a UDFA that I've had my eye on for a couple months now. Okay, even before the NFL draft, I was actually pretty high on Jack Sanborn. If you look at my tweets from last year, I actually had him selected in some of my mock drafts way earlier than where he got selected. Okay, he actually didn't get selected. He was an undrafted free agent, so he did not get drafted. I thought he would be a fifth, maybe sixth round prospect. Some sites even had him going in the fourth round. But regardless, the Bears got lucky enough to sign him as a UDFA, okay, for being, you know, a pretty solid linebacker in college, a guy that has a lot of potential in this league, a guy that can maybe start in certain roles in this league. I thought that was a steal by the Chicago Bears, which a lot of people are not talking enough about. And looking at the, you know, current state of the Bears linebacking core, looking at the roster right now, I really do feel like Sanborn is going to make this roster. And in this video, I'll be telling you guys why. So Jack Sanborn played 4 years for the Wisconsin Badgers. He played from 2018 to 2021. If I read you guys his stats during his time at Wisconsin, he was a very productive linebacker in their system. Okay, he played both the Mike and the Will and had great success at both those positions. If you look at his 2021 stats last year, that was definitely his best and most productive year. He had 89 total tackles. He had 16 tackles for loss. Think about that, guys. That's a huge amount of production right there in the backfield, you know, getting tackles for loss. And then he also had 5 sacks. He was used as a blitzer on that defense. He had 1 fumble recovery, and that was in 13 games. Okay, and if you look at his total career stats, 228 total tackles, 29 tackles for loss, 11.5 sacks, 4 interceptions, 4 passes defended, 2 fumble recoveries, 3 forced fumbles. A monster on that football field, guys. I mean, he was also a team captain for the Wisconsin Badgers, one of their most respected leaders. And the Badgers had a great defense last year and, you know, many years while Sanborn was there. So clearly he was leading a very good defense, a very capable defense, and he produced for that defense in the Big Ten. Now, if you look at his measurables, he's 6'2", weighs 234 pounds. If you look at some of his athletic tests, so in the 40-yard dash, he ran a 4.73. Not an elite time, obviously, but good enough for, you know, most linebackers. That ranked, you know, about average for most linebackers. If you look at his, you know, 20-yard split, 10-yard splits on the screen right now. You can also take a look at his other tests as well. So not the best of the best athlete. Okay, he's a good enough athlete. He was good enough for college football, but the reason why he didn't go higher, the reason why he didn't get drafted in the NFL draft, in my opinion, was because he's not viewed as being an elite athlete. Okay, some NFL evaluators probably have question marks about if his play can translate to the next level against faster players and if he can hold up in coverage, because at Wisconsin, he was great as a run defender, one of the best run defenders in college football. He was okay in coverage, but not nearly as, you know, great at it as other linebackers in this draft were. So that's the main, you know, question mark that people have about Jack Sanborn. Now, putting measurables aside, if you look at the tape, if you look at what some evaluators have to say about Jack Sanborn, I actually went back and watched, you know, some of his games at Wisconsin, especially the ones from last year, and I really feel like this is the type of player that Matt Eberflus is going to love in his defense. Okay, the instinctiveness, the ability to hit hard, the ability to wrap up and tackle consistently. Okay, Eberflus has stressed to the team how important consistent tackling effort is going to be in OTAs. This is a guy that can definitely tackle and do it well, you know, basically every time he's on the football field. He had very few missed tackles during his time with the Wisconsin Badgers. His football IQ is also phenomenal. If you look at some of his pursuit angles, the way he's able to recognize offensive formations, I mean, he was the captain of that defense, so he was in charge of, you know, calling out some of the plays and also, you know, being the man in charge and telling, you know, the other players on that defense where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to do. And, you know, he also picked off some of the best quarterbacks in college football. Okay, back when Justin Herbert was in college, he picked off Justin Herbert. I believe he picked off Justin Fields as well. So against some of the top competition in college football, played fairly well. But I think what Matt Eberflus is going to love the most is his competitive toughness. Okay, this guy is a dog out there on the football field, and he also rarely misses games. I mean, last 3 years, I don't believe he missed a single game. Obviously, 2020 was the COVID-shortened season. He only played 7 games, but that's because there was only 7 games that year for the Wisconsin Badgers. But a guy that's going to stay on the football field, a guy that's going to, you know, play through pain, a guy that's going to be tough out there, you know, impose his will on the other side. And, you know, that's really the type of players that Paulson Eberflus has been looking to bring into the Bears organization this year. We lack those players last couple years here under Matt Nagy and Pace, and we're trying to get more of them this year. Guys that truly understand what it should mean to be a Chicago Bear. I think Jack Sanborn definitely has a mentality to be a Chicago Bear. And, also guys, like I mentioned earlier, his run defense is going to be crucial to this Bears team. Okay, run defense was by far the best part of his arsenal. The ability to penetrate in the backfield and to plug up running lanes, that's what he can do the best. For a Bears defense that ranked in the bottom 15 last year, I believe actually bottom 10 in run defense, that's going to be a welcome addition. We also lost some defensive line players. If you want to bring this guy in, as a run plugging linebacker for your defense, he can definitely do that for you. I mean, he did that in college, and a lot of his skills do translate well to the next level. Again, the only question mark I have is how is he going to hold up in coverage, but I don't foresee him being in coverage too often on this defense. Obviously, here and there he is going to be in coverage if he is starting, if he's playing at all on this defense, but he's not going to be manned up against, Devontae Adams, for example. Like, that's obviously not going to happen. I trust Eberflus and, the defensive coaching staff now to put these players in the best positions to succeed, and Jack Sanborn is going to succeed as a run plugging, blitzing type of linebacker. Now, if you look at the current state of the Bears linebacking core, you can easily see why Jack Sanborn should have a great chance on making this roster, okay? Because if you look at our linebacking depth right now, obviously Roquan Smith is our superstar, probably the best player on this football team at this point in time, okay? His spot is definitely not up for grabs. He has that locked down. But aside from Roquan Smith, we have a bunch of question marks on this linebacking core. Nicholas Morrow was a great, upside signing from the Las Vegas Raiders. He has a lot of athletic potential. I think he can be a nice linebacker next to Roquan Smith, but he has to stay healthy. And, aside from Morrow, the other guys are even bigger question marks. Matthew Adams played last year for the Colts, but didn't really play a big role on the Colts defense. If you look at the other guys, Joe Thomas, Caleb Johnson, Christian Albright, Noah Dawkins, I'm sure the average NFL fan does not even know who most of those guys are. So you can clearly see here there's an opportunity for Jack Sanborn to make the roster, and I'm predicting he is going to make this roster based on just raw upside. I think he has the most raw upside out of any unproven linebacker we have right now. Maybe he plays a Sam, maybe the Will. We'll have to see where Eberflus thinks he fits the best, but regardless, I do think there should be a spot for him in this Bears linebacking rotation. Keep in mind though, a lot of times in the NFL nowadays, you don't have 3 linebackers on the field, anymore. You usually have nickel packages with extra DBs. So it's not like Jack Sanborn, even if he does make the roster, he'll have to have a significant role, but I do think he can contribute in some way to this current Bears team. This current Bears team doesn't have a lot of proven talent on it, and Matt Eberflus has stated he's okay with playing young guys, so I really think he's going to make this roster. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments down below. Do you think Jack Sanborn is going to make the roster? Is he going to get any playing time? Let me know down below. As always, bear down.